Salutations, dear viewers. This is George from Ireland, and this video is about Catalan independence, the issue which seems to have disappeared. You may remember in the autumn, this was front page news, homage to Catalonia from the SNP, I suppose. There was a referendum in Catalonia that was highly tendentious, and the Supreme Court of Spain ruled it to be illegal. The Spanish police tried to prevent it going ahead. But anyway, the majority of people in Catalonia who voted wanted independence. Quite a lot of people didn't vote. The people who are pro-Madrid largely boycotted the poll because they wanted to delegitimize it. And it's an issue which seems to have receded, not quite disappeared. There have been two referenda in recent years in Catalonia in which most votes have been cast for separating from Spain, and there's been one election in which the separatist parties have prevailed. So on that basis, the case for Catalonia to leave Spain is very strong indeed. Notably, the Catalan nationalists want to remain part of the European Union. Strikes me as an oxymoron. One can't be independent within the European Union. Republic of Ireland, France, Spain, any EU country, we're not independent, we're in the EU. So Catalonia could be a separate member state of the EU, but ipso facto cannot be independent. I know it's an absurdity, like, say, the King of the Belgians taking an oath to uphold Belgian independence when, this is the capital of the EU in Brussels, he should know that Belgium isn't independent. Now, independence might be overrated, might even be a bad thing. The EU could be wonderful, but one cannot both be independent and an EU member state, despite some people trying to argue that black is white. So the Spanish police did use some force in trying to prevent this referendum going ahead, and they had to. It seemed to be reasonable force mostly, seizing ballot boxes. Occasionally there was argy-bargy with people, but let's not exaggerate this. Nobody was killed. Nigel Farage, a man for whom I used to hold a brief, and I thought his rhetoric was over the top about this, about the use of force, and maybe just occasionally the police went a little bit too far. One thing is, independence movements are usually illegal. Sovereign states normally try to prevent themselves breaking up and try to ban splittist movements. Although in the Kingdom of Spain, such movements are not illegal, but the government said that the referendum was. Not quite sure on what basis they argued that. So the separatists have tried democratic means. And I would slightly prefer Spain to remain united. My sympathies tend to lie with centripetal forces, not centrifugal forces. But as they've tried to hold a vote, nothing more peaceful than that, and they've been thwarted, what next? A tax strike? Civil disobedience? Just declaring independence anyway? Puigdemont, who was the president of Catalonia, if I've got the terminology right, he made some proclamation which stopped just short of that. Are they going to turn to use of force? And I really don't want to see bloodshed about this. So would it be such a calamity if Catalonia became independent? I don't think so. Not for Catalonia or for the rump of Spain. Catalonia is the richest region in Spain, but not by such a long way. And I've known people from other parts of Spain who say, oh, well, that's because we subsidise them to stop them separating. I don't think that's true. For about a century, it's been one of the wealthiest regions. It wouldn't be the first country in the world to split off a larger country, so it would not have to be a cataclysm. As Spain and Catalonia would remain in the European Union, perhaps it should make no difference, because the real capital of Catalonia, or Spain indeed, in a sense, is Brussels and or Strasbourg. However, the European Union said that they would not automatically accept Catalonia. They're doing everything to put obstacles in the way of Catalan separation, because they're worried that this would set a dangerous precedent, there'd be a chain reaction, then Galicia, then Andalusia break away, and Spain is moth-eaten. There is no Spain, and Italy could split up into its different regions, and France and all sorts of member states could break up. But as they're all in the European Union, we're all Europeans now anyway, so what difference does it make? I've heard Irish nationalists advance this argument, that that's the one thing about the border in Northern Ireland becoming more of an issue with Brexit. It doesn't matter whether you're part of the Irish Republic or the UK, because we're all part of the EU, so that's that. And most legislation originates in Brussels or Strasbourg. These directives, I know member states have their margin of appreciation, change them around a little bit, but in essence they are the same. So I don't think it would be a dangerous precedent. As I say, it's not a precedent at all, since many countries have become independent throughout the course of history. And this one splitting up, I don't think has to be an absolute catastrophe. Must hand it to Spain. Madrid has gone a long way towards recognising Catalonia's special status. The Catalan language is co-equal with Castilian in Catalonia. The Spanish constitution lists various nations of Spain, one of those being Catalonia. So Catalonia is allowed to march to its own drum to a very considerable extent. Not everybody in Catalonia is Catalan. So there are people there from other regions of Spain. People have moved from other parts of the world, let's say Nigeria or China, other EU member states. Puigdemont is his wife's Romanian. So Catalan nationalism doesn't seem to be a terrible, threatening thing to me. I don't think anyone's accused of Puigdemont of being racist, and forgive me about mispronouncing his name. The curious thing is, what effect would this have on the SNP? Because some Catalan separatists and Scots separatists felt there was a symbiosis between them. And of course, Caledonia voted to remain within the United Kingdom. But if Catalonia did leave Spain, what then for the separatists in North Britain? Would they feel their causes were revivified? I'm not sure. But the EU is not sympathetic to either case. What effect would it have on Brexit, as the European Union is enfeebled and almost in crisis if this were to happen? Would that weaken the EU's negotiating position vis-à-vis Brexit? I know the Brexit exit terms have been provisionally agreed. The ink is not yet on any agreement. But the United Kingdom is not supporting this. So other forces, I shan't name them, might see that jeopardising the unity of the EU would be a good thing, would weaken the EU. So will it happen? It's odd. The Spanish government's policy seemed to kick it into long grass. Delay and delay and delay. Because there wasn't a huge groundswell of support for Catalan separation. Well, maybe a narrow majority. And they're hoping support will leach away. People will feel that the moment for separation has come and gone. And people get bored of the idea. Yes, there are a hard core of fervent separatists who will never give up on this one, just like in Scotland. But there are other people who are conditional separatists who are not obdurate, and they might calm down and be mollified. There are two approaches that a central government can take to a separatist movement. One could try and kill home rule by kindness, as I think it was Gerald Balfour said, or Lord Robertson said, devolution for Scotland, kill nationalism stone dead. The other one is the opposite to Stonewall, say, no, absolutely not, no truck with that. Someone like, say, Lord Heseltine in the UK, who was a Euro fanatic, said, was have make absolutely no concessions to Euroscepticism whatsoever, and eventually it will go away. And if there's a very firm and unanimous no by the establishment, then it will go away, which can work. So that appears to be Madrid's attitude. I mean, up to now, they've made considerable concessions, and they're just playing for time. So this stalling seems to be working. They issued arrest warrants for these separatist politicians. Well, we haven't heard much about it. There may be a recrudescence of separatist feeling. I'm very glad that despite feeling running high, nobody's been killed. I really don't want anyone to be killed. I don't see Catalonia as being oppressed. And I don't think it would be a woeful thing if Catalonia were to leave Spain. And if it were to happen, could it not be on good terms, remaining amicable with Spain, being an ally of Spain, and so forth. So that's that. What's going to happen? I mean, I suspect that it won't happen because all EU member states are saying no, as well as the European Union itself are saying no, as well as Madrid. I don't see what more the Spanish government can do to make reconciliatory gestures towards Catalan separatist opinion, as they've already gone quite a long way towards recognising Catalonia's national character.